Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my friend to leave over my weird obsession and never come back? I've been thinking about posting this for a while, but I've held off. Around 2 weeks ago, I invited a few friends over to my house to chill and hang out. Now, in my friends group, a lot of them think that I'm weird because I collect things, but for me, it's an investment. I have a specific room where I have tons of old video games, dolls, baseball and football cards, and antiques that easily total over $100,000. And since prices keep rising, I keep collecting things I know will be valuable later on. I have this really cherished antique that in all my years of trading, both buying and selling, I have never even considered anything to do with it. An incredibly old Springfield 1861 musket, bayonet included. It was passed down from generations ago, and I still have it. One of my friends decided to ask me what valuable junk I have, and I decided to turn up my ego and told him that I have a genuine 1861 Springfield rifle. None of them believed me, so I told them that I would go up, take a picture, and bring it back down. The guy who asked said that wasn't enough, that it could have been faked, and then thought it was his personal right to practically run to my room without my permission. We all practically chased after him to stop him, and right as he entered the room, he tripped over a bunch of baseball cards and smashed 3 pots that totaled around $6,000. I told him to leave immediately and that I didn't want to talk to him again, and that I was going to press charges. I still hold it against my friend for getting into the place when I told him no. A lot of other of my friends are saying that I was way too harsh with it and that it was an accident. I then told them that it was his fault for entering when I specifically told him not to, and that those items were worth a lot to me. Sentimentally as well, since I've had them for over 10 years. They've been telling me that I need to stop the legal action. Am I the jerk? Alright, OP. I would be hard-pressed to say that you're the jerk in this situation. Maybe it might be a slight overreaction to immediately go to suing him. I think that not involving the law, if possible, is always good. But if you can, for instance, tell him that, he needs to pay you, the $6,000, then that might be a thing he would be willing to pay back. But if he's not willing at all to pay back, then I can understand why you would want to press charges. So in this particular case, hopefully with these 3 vases that you've kept, whatever records you have of them for collecting so that you can actually prove their value. And that way, if you do have to end up bringing up a legal slant or a case against him, that you will be able to actually, have their true assessed value. So, yeah, I mean, this is a difficult situation. I'm sorry that your, former friend broke your stuff, but I really honestly, with him breaking $6,000 worth of stuff, rushing in like a bull in a china shop into your, private room that you told him not to go into, I really honestly can't see that he was being a good friend in this situation anyways, and it might be best not to have friends like this, period. So, no, I really honestly don't necessarily think that you would be a jerk in this situation for suing him. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, he entered your private property without permission and destroyed $6,000 worth of property. I would say if he doesn't pay it back on his own accord, there's nothing wrong with legal action. $6,000 is a lot of money to put out because somebody completely disrespected your wishes and space. But you're going to have to prove that what he destroyed was actually worth that amount. Might be tough. And OP replies, luckily I have cameras and the broken pieces, so hopefully I can prove it. Yeah, hopefully. Again, it would be better if OP actually had the paperwork to prove the cost of this. $6,000, is a lot of money. So, that hopefully you have more than just the pieces and the camera footage, because if you bought these for a lot of money, or you just speculate that they're worth a lot of money, that may be a completely different reality. OP trying to prove his items were worth that could also be like an episode of Hoarders, where these people collect all these items only to find out that they're worthless in the end. I don't know, it just seems like anytime a magic number like $100,000 is thrown out, it ends up being significantly less. That's a good point. I disagree. There's no question who's at fault here. The question is he a jerk? Everyone is a jerk here. He cares only about his collection more than his friendship. First step to not a jerk is to give the guy a chance to redeem his mistake. You are completely blowing off a friend for a moment of misjudgment. Not a nice way to handle things immediately. Not the jerk, he continued when you told him no. Any antique store would have a policy of, you broke it, you bought it. Based on your post, I am assuming that you are a responsible antique and collectible owner, so all the items are insured. He owes you the deductible on your insurance claim. If he refuses to cover the deductible, you have no option but to sue him for that value. Nope, uninsured based on his reply to another comment because money is tight. After seeing that comment, I kind of switched to you're the jerk. For goodness sake, if there's an earthquake, a break-in, a fire, an animal gets inside, he got his whole uninsured life savings in that room. It's inevitable that those things are going to go wrong. Also, what kind of collector leaves their baseball cards in a slippery pile by the door? Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. The pile of cards. I mean, I don't think that's the major issue here. The major issue is that the friend rushed into the room and, without stopping and without looking. And, while I do think that a person who does take collecting very seriously should also have their property insured, the issue here isn't blaming him for the damage that's been done to his property. The issue is whether or not his friend, violated his boundaries, and whether or not suing him is the appropriate option. And I would say if his friend is unwilling to pay him back, then suing him is certainly not off the table. Though, if you do have, a lot of property that is valuable, renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance or something to that effect is not a bad way of going. Generally a renter's policy is super cheap. You have a couple dollars a month and you can have, tens of thousands of dollars worth of insurance, and just make sure to have everything well documented is really what it boils down to. So it sounds like OP isn't preparing for the worst in this situation, so that's a bit unfortunate. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Ex that he can figure out his own gifts from his own children and stop expecting free stuff from me? I found out my ex was having an affair 5 years ago. He left me for the other woman, who now has 3 kids with him. We have 2 together. Our daughter is 10 and our son is 8. At first, I did my best to try and put things in the past and think of the kids by being considerate when it came to the siblings. And then they started expecting me to send more and more. I'm talking not just something for Christmas or birthdays, but Easter, whenever I get my kids something just because. It was also expected that I would take them on fun trips with my kids, that I would have them in my home, and I just can't. I hate my ex, I hate his wife, and I don't love their kids even as my kids' siblings. I don't hate them, but I also don't want to be part of their lives. Might sound terrible, but I just can't. Even with them being cute babies and toddlers, there's just too much that went on with my ex and me, and his affair partner, and I just can't deal. OP, I don't actually think I even need to finish reading the rest of this to make a determination here. No, your ex is taking advantage of you. This is not typical, ex behavior. Like, you shouldn't be caring for their children. It doesn't matter if you have 2 children of your own here. You don't need to be caring for 3 additional children who you have a great deal of animosity towards. OP, yeah, you need to put your foot down here. Don't buy them anything, period. Now my ex is claiming that this is hurting his kids, that I'm spiteful and I owe it to our kids to be a better person, etc., and that it made the kids' day to have gifts from someone other than mom and their dad, since his wife is now a former foster kid and he was disowned by his family for cheating. They are very religious and do not approve of divorce or any kind of cheating, and I can confirm that they were disgusted by his actions. So the kids have them. X was never a person who had a lot of friends, and definitely not one who would buy gifts for the kids. The kids never really got into buying the gifts, which could be due to the ex only having 1 weekend a month due to his work schedule. But yeah, I guess part of me does feel bad because of the kids. The other part of me just really resents being in this position and being taken advantage of by my ex and his wife. Am I the jerk? Nope, my judgment has not changed at all reading that last half. No, OP, you are not the jerk. You are being taken advantage of here. You do not owe those kids anything. It is not your fault that your ex doesn't have friends or family. Your ex doesn't have, has been disowned by their family because of his actions here. And his, the thing is, like, you're taking more responsibility for your ex and his family and his part of the family than his own family is. Like, that should tell you something here right away, that his own family, who disowned him for cheating on you, are like, no, we're out. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. Yet you are here being like, well, I feel bad for the kids. Here, have another gift, kids. No, OP, you are under no obligation whatsoever here to continue funding this. I give you the full Brian permission, and you can blame this on me. Be like, Brian told me that I don't have to pay for gifts for your kids anymore. So yeah, just blame me. I'll take it. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. Ironic that the man who had an affair and left you for the mistress is telling you to be the better person. A bit ironic. Well, he knew he wasn't capable of being it. Right, like, oh, I know I broke your heart and turned your entire life upside down, but maybe stop being so salty and treat the other woman's kids as the same as your own, because if you don't, you're a bad person, and you should feel bad about it. They're both garbage people, OP. Keep doing your thing, and take care of you and your babies, and don't let that jerk get under your skin. Yeah. Not the jerk. You don't owe your ex's kids any gifts. Unfortunately, the expectation has already been set up with them, but they'll get over it. Don't let yourself be guilted. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Sal.